make a boat. So you can hang this up if you want. You can make it into a reed, just put a bit of string on it. And it's a boat on the waves. So for this craft what you need is a paper plate, a toilet roll holder, and a little bit of paper or card. So I have some blues here, I use some white as well. So we'll start off anyway with our paper plate. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the centre from our paper plate. If you don't have a paper plate, you can use just a cereal box and cut a circle out of the cereal box, or any sort of card. Just make it sure it's like a ring that you cut out of it. So we're going to cut around. So there is our paper plate. And what I did then is I painted it. So I painted my blue to match the waves. So I've blue, you can see, paper plate. The next thing then we do is you can start drawing. So I drew a boat and I coloured it in. There's my boat. I did a sun. And I also have some birds here. So they're very simple to do. It's just like an M shape, or you could even say it's like the shape of a moustache or something. It's like an M shape for our birds. So I have a few of those there as well. So we'll leave those aside. We'll use those in a few minutes. We're going to do our lighthouse. So our lighthouse, if I bring back my reed, that's what my lighthouse looks like. So to get that curve on it, you might be able to see there, I use a toilet roll. So I have one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it out. So if we get our scissors and you want to cut it out, so if you go in at a slight diagonal, like that, not too much, just a little bit. There we are. Do the same this side, and like that, and you'll end up with something a little bit like this. And that's going to be the shape of the base for our lighthouse. But we need a top to our lighthouse. So get the other half, and you want to cut out another little bit. So a little bit smaller than what you did before. And you want to cut out like a square. Like that. And then that goes on top. So you just stick that on with a little bit of sellotape. And just stick that onto the back. Let me get my little bit of sellotape. Just stick that on. Like that. And it's going to be the basic shape of your lighthouse. So you can paint it if you want. What I did is I actually just wrapped mine in paper. So there it is, and as you can see, I just wrap paper around it, and that's for my lighthouse. So I just put a few stripes on it, I did a little window, and that's my lighthouse. So we're nearly there, we're nearly ready to stick everything on. We just need our waves. So for our waves, I have some 2 different colour blues. Now you can just use one colour blue, that's okay. And I've cut strips out of my blue paper. So I have long strips cut out. And this is what we're going to use to make our waves. So if you get one of the long ones here, and we'll start off, what you do is you get it like this, and you turn it in, so you're making like a loop. Now you probably don't need it that long, so we'll take off a little bit off the end. So just cut a little bit off the end. We have like a loop, and we're going to stick that down, a little bit of sellotape. Like that. In. So we have our loop. We need another loop for the inside. So we might use one of the other blues here. Loop it in. Go to measure it off and make sure it's a little bit smaller than the one we have already. It is. So a little bit of sellotape, stick it down. And that'll go inside. So we'll go back to the dark blue, I think. And we want to do another loop, so make sure it's smaller than this one here. So we'll go by that size. And I'll put a little bit off the end. That, a little bit of sellotape. that in there. You can see it's smaller. It's perfect. We'll go back to our light blue then, and we just need a very small little roll then for inside. Like that. We'll cut off that bit there. That's probably big enough. Put that then inside. So we'll start sticking these then together. So we'll take our big one. We'll get rid of these strips actually. Wait. So we'll take our biggest loop and a little bit of glue inside. So a little bit of glue in there. Get your second biggest, put it inside like that. Then we want to get the next one. A little bit of glue inside. Any sort of glue will do the job. It's just paper sticking, so it doesn't really matter. Stick that down, and finally with the smallest one of all, and that goes in then. So put a little bit of glue here on this one. I'll stick that down, and you hand up with something a little bit like that, and that's going to be our waves. So a few of those here are kind of the different sizes. So there they are. So if we those aside here for a second, we bring back our basic shape. So we're going to stick it all together now. So we'll start with our lighthouse, and we'll stick that to the side here. So a little bit of glue wherever your lighthouse is hitting the reed behind. Put a little bit of glue underneath. So stick it there. Put this side then as well. There we are. Stick it down. And we need our boat, most important. So our boat, we're going to stick that on. You can stick that on at a little bit of an angle, like that. So we'll put a little bit of glue on the top, and a little bit on the bottom there as well. And whatever you think then, you need to reinforce it to make sure it sticks. A little bit over this side there. Okay, so our boat is stuck down. Now we'll put on our waves. So you want it to look like your boat is going along the waves. So stick those all along the bottom like that. So a little bit of glue in here. Along the edge bits. Stick them down. Yeah, so there are waves. Then we'll put our sun up in the top corner then as well. There's our sun. And finally then our birds. So just dot your birds around. Like they're flying through the sky. You can have these kind of sticking out over the edge as well, which is quite nice. Finally, we've one more. And there you have it. We're ready to sail.